students, welcome to my channel. In this video we'll be learning about another new life process which is all about our transportation. Let's get started. First of all, we'll be reading about the transportation in plants and later on we'll be studying about the transportation in animals. So let's get started. Transportation in plants. Actually, plants have two primary systems. The xylem and the phloem. The vascular tissues are responsible for moving water, nutrients, and food throughout the plant. Here, what happens means when a group of cells combine together to perform a specific task, it is said to be for a tissue. These tissues form tubular structures in the plants which are responsible for transporting all the things which are convenient for the plant. Now, in transportation, what are the main things which has to be transported? First of all, mainly two things we require. There are two things which has to be transported importantly. The first one could be the nutrients which has to be reached to each and every cell of a particular organism, and the removal of wastes. The waste should be collected from each and every cell of an organism, which has to be removed out of the body. Then, so the first one is the xylem. The xylem, we'll be reading about its function first. It transports water and dissolved minerals from the roots to the leaves. That means it performs the first task, which is it can transport all the raw materials which are required to perform the process of photosynthesis and to produce glucose. Now, what is the mechanism of xylem? Means how the xylem pipe pulls this water and these minerals. Actually, when the process of transpiration is performed, now what is transpiration? That is a process in which the plant loses excess water, which is absorbed by it. Through leaves. Now, whenever these leaves perform the transpiration process, it creates a suction pull which is same as the pull which is formed when we use a straw. Then here, when this happens, then the water and the minerals are pulled up. So in this manner, the xylem pulls up water and the other minerals which are absorbed by the roots to the different parts of the body of the plant. Now, the cohesion and the adhesion properties of water help in this process. The cohesion and the adhesion, these are the main two properties of water which help in the process of pulling all the nutrients and the water to different parts of the plant. Then, from which direction the xylem helps in moving out these? That is unidirectional. Only upward. When all the water and the minerals are totally absorbed by the roots. In the soil, they all are moved up in only one direction. That is upwards. Then, coming to phloem, its main function is and transports the products of photosynthesis, mainly sugar, which is the simplest form of carbohydrate which is formed by the process of photosynthesis, from the leaves to other parts of the plant such as stem, root, and fruits. Now, what is the function of phloem here? Actually, it is used to transport the sugars from the process of photosynthesis to different cells of a particular plant. Then, what is the mechanism of it? Actually, phloem uses a process known as translocation. The movement is driven by a pressure gradient created by the loading and unloading of sugars at source and the sink. Here, the source means the leaves and the sink means the roots, fruits, and etc. points. When this loading and unloading, export and import occurs between the source and the sink. Source means from where it is being transported, and sink means where it has to be transported. So this mechanism is known as translocation. Then what is the direction of this their pull? Actually it is bidirectional, means it can move both up and also down, because from the leaves the uh, mainly products which are formed by photosynthesis has to be reached to each and every cell, no? So that's why this has a bidirectional property. Then here you can see, actually, here is a picture of a plant for your better understanding. Here, roots take up water from the soil and also including the minerals. Now, water is drawn up to the stems, up the stem to the leaves. Okay, it is driven up to the leaves through which vascular tissue? Yes, it is xylem. Then the water evaporates from the leaves, which creates a suction pull. Okay, here this process helps in the process of the pull, which is created by the xylem. Then the veins carry water into the leaves. This is all about the phloem. Third one is the root uptake. Here, roots absorb the water and nutrients from the soil. Root hairs increase the surface area of the absorption. Water and nutrients then enter the vascular system for upward transport through the xylem. Okay, this is the just previous step before we study about the xylem. Okay, as we studied about the xylem, before the food reaches to the xylem and it gets transported to the root system, first of all it is absorbed by the roots. So this is the main thing and the main property of the roots, so that it can absorb all the nutrients and the water from the soil. Okay, that's why it is said that we need to water the plants at a particular interval of time. Then transpiration pull. Here, transpiration pull, as I told you, it is the suction pull which is created when the leaves perform the process of transpiration. And the transpiration is performed by stomata. Do you know? Then, coming to stomata, it is the main thing, okay, which causes transpiration. Now, actually, what is stomata? Stomata in previous classes, as we read, it is the tiny openings or the small pores which are present on the lamina of the leaf. Okay, that regulates the gas exchange. Okay, especially when we were studying about the nutrition process, we studied about photosynthesis, and then we studied that the carbon dioxide is taken in from the atmosphere and the oxygen is released out through small openings known as stomata. These small openings also cause the water loss to the plants. Okay, the sixth type of transport is active and passive transport. When we talk about passive transport, here the water and some minerals move through the plant by diffusion or osmosis without the use of energy. Okay, here no energy is required. Simply the transport occurs in the plants. But when we talk about the active transport, here it needs the adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP, okay, which involves the moving up of nutrients, okay, into the root cells. So this was all about the plants. Now here is a small diagram given for you. This is how the transportation in plants occurs. As we discussed, it is all about this. Then here you can see another diagram for you. This is for your better understanding. Let me explain you about it. As you can see, this is a plant and here a bird is there and another a leaf is there. Here the brown color you can see, that is the soil, and under the brown color whatever is there, these are the roots of this plant. Now water and minerals are taken up by root. As I told you, this process is known as root uptake. Now they reach xylem and from xylem they are sent upwards. Okay, as the vascular tissue xylem has a unidirectional property. Now they are sent to the bud. Okay, then also leaves, and from leaves what they collect, now actually the phloem, another vascular tissue, it always collects the glucose made by photosynthesis or the sugar as the result of photosynthesis into different parts of the uh, actually of plants. Okay, not different parts but different cells. Okay, so then the process of transpiration occurs, and again this process goes on. Now we have completed all about the plants. Now we'll be studying about the transportation in animals. Transportation in human beings. Okay, however, when we read about the plants, actually there are only two main keywords, they, namely the xylem and the phloem. But when we talk about human beings, as the human beings are unicellular or multicellular organisms, they are not unicellular, sorry. So, as they are multicellular organisms, they have a complex circulatory system which helps them in their circulation of different types of nutrients, and it also helps in the removal of waste products, and it actually the blood also carries hormones and other things. Now the primary components of a transpiratory system, or which is usually known as circulatory system in human beings, involves the heart, which is the main organ, then the blood and the blood vessels. Okay, here, the circulatory system. Actually, it is a closed system. If we will see technically, then we can understand that it has two circuits. Okay, the first circuit is namely known as the systemic circulation circuit. The second one is the pulmonary circulation circuit. Okay, in systemic circulation circuit, what is its function? Actually, it transports the oxygenated blood from the heart to the rest body and returns deoxygenated blood or carbon dioxygenated blood back to the heart. Okay. So, in the systemic pull, what happens? Actually, the heart sends the oxygenated or the purified blood to all over the parts of body, and also it collects all the whatever the impure blood is there. It collects all those things and it back to the heart. And now, when we are talking about the pulmonary circulation, actually, this pulmonary circulation is associated with heart and lungs. Okay, whenever we use the word pulmonary, so we can understand that something is associated with the lungs. And pulmonary pull, what happens? Now, actually, the deoxygenated blood from the heart reaches the lungs, and in the alveoli it is purified, and again the oxygenated blood or the pure blood is sent to the heart. So this is all about the two circuits which are there in our human body. Here you can see the diagram of those two circuits. Here first lungs is there, and the heart symbol which you can see, it actually represents the heart and then the body. Okay, the pulmonary artery carries actually carbon dioxygenated blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs for purification, and the pulmonary vein actually collects all the purified blood from the lungs to the heart. Then what happens in systemic circulation? Actually, the body receives the oxygenated blood through the heart, and the systemic vein collects all the deoxygenated blood to the heart again. Now, a question comes that why? However, artery is a particular blood vessel. Okay, we all know about it. Artery and vein, these are the two main blood vessels of the human body. However, artery always carries the oxygenated blood to the whole of our body, and vein always carries the carbon dioxygenated blood to the heart. So why in the pulmonary circulation it is known as pulmonary artery? Still, it carries the deoxygenated blood. And then when we talk about the pulmonary vein, it carries the oxygenated blood. How it can be possible? We'll be studying about it later. Okay. Then the main organ comes, which is heart. Now, what is heart? Heart is a muscular organ which is made up of actually made up of cardiac muscles. Okay. Now, what is the size of heart? Actually, the size of heart is around our fist. When we join all our fingers, then a fist is formed. Our heart is nearly around has a rough size of our fist. Okay. Now, what is the function of heart? Heart, you will not believe that heart is a pump which pumps blood through thousands of, not thousands of years, but 70 to 80 years. Okay, up to a lifespan of a particular organism. Okay, it continuously beats without any stoppage. Is not it amazing? Actually, now the heart has also four chambers. Okay, different types of organisms have different type of heart, but humans have a four-chambered heart. But when we talk about the fish, it has two-chambered heart. When we talk about the amphibians, they have three-chambered heart. But one exception is there, that is of crocodile. A crocodile, do you know, it has four-chambered heart, a totally developed heart like human beings. Okay. Now, what are the four chambers of this heart? Actually, there are two upper chambers in the heart and two lower chambers in the heart. Here, the upper chambers are known as atria, and the singular form is atrium. And the lower chambers are known as the ventricles. The singular is ventricle. Okay. Now, heart pumps blood to all the parts of the body. All of us know about it. Now, how it pumps blood? Now it performs rhythmic contractions followed by the relaxation. Okay, which causes the heart to contract and relax. Contract, relax. This contraction and relaxation makes electric impulses. Okay, which helps in the transportation of blood. Now, what causes blood? Actually, heart to uh, contract and rhythmically relax. Now, there are pacemaker cells which are present at heart. Okay, actually, what is the function of these pacemaker cells? These pacemaker cells can create a electronic pulse. Okay, which causes the heart to contract and relax rhythmically. Okay, then this is a heart, as you can see. It has four. Actually, it has four chambers: left ventricle, right atrium, and the left atrium. Atrium can be also said as auricle. Okay, excuse me. Then it has also pulmonary veins, pulmonary artery, aorta, and vena cava. Okay. Now we'll be studying, as I told you about pulmonary vein and artery. Let me tell about aorta. Okay, aorta is the actually the biggest artery in our body. Then vena cava is the biggest vein in the body. Then it comes all about the blood. Now, what is blood? Blood is a red color fluid which carries all the things from our body. Okay, example, blood circulates the whole gases, means whatever we inhale, that is oxygen, actually it carries to the whole body. Then it also collects the carbon dioxide from the whole body and it helps in its exhalation. Then the another thing which blood can do is it transports all the nutrients which are required, and it also collects all the impure things or the nitrogenous wastes from the cells when they perform their particular task. And another thing, the blood also carries the the nutrients, okay, from the digestion. Now here the blood consists of many things. Here, especially, here a main question comes that why the color of blood is red? Yes, this is due to the presence of a red color pigment known as hemoglobin. Okay, now what is the function of hemoglobin? Whenever we breathe oxygen, and when it reaches the lungs through the air sacs which are known as alveoli, as we studied in our previous classes, they are diffused with the blood to in order to purify it. Okay, in this process the hemoglobin is a red color pigment which binds the oxygen with it for its ease in transportation. Okay, so this is the main role of hemoglobin. Then it also carries oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and returns carbon dioxide from the tissue to the lungs. As I told you, this has a similar function. Now, what is RBC? RBC means red blood cells. It is present in our blood. Okay. It is in the shape of a, actually it can be said in, it is in the shape of a, the normal tablets which we eat in our day-to-day life, and slightly it is pulled in the middle. Okay, so it has a different type of structure. Then when we talk about the white blood cells, these are the WBCs. Okay, now let me tell you the scientific name of RBC. It is the erythrocytes. But when we talk about the white blood cells, they are known as leukocytes. Now, what is the actual function of leukocytes? Now, these leukocytes help to fight against all the infections and the which may cause diseases and which may be harmful for us. Okay, then it comes another type of blood cell which is platelet. Actually, platelet clots the blood. That's why whenever we get injuries and when we have bleeding, after some times the bleeding stops only due to platelet. If there are no platelets, the bleeding would not stop and the wound would not heal. Okay, then plasma. It is the liquid part of the blood that transports hormones, nutrients, waste products. Okay, and all the proteins throughout the body. Okay, here you can see all the blood cells. The platelets are known as thrombocytes. The red blood cells are known as erythrocytes. As I told you, the common name for white blood cells is the leukocytes. But it has many types. For example, basophil, neutrophil, eosinophil, monocytes, and lymphocytes. Okay. Then coming to blood vessels. Now there are four types of blood vessels. Actually, there are two types of blood vessels, but here more two names are given. As you can see, the aorta and the vena cava. As I told you, aorta is the biggest artery and vena cava is the biggest vein. So we can conclude that we are having mainly two types of blood vessels. And another term here you can see, that is capillary. We will be reading about it. Now, what are blood vessels? Actually, blood vessels are the pipes which are present in our body for the transportation of blood. Here, the first type of blood vessel comes, that is the artery. Now, what is the function of artery? Actually, artery carries all the oxygenated blood and, and all the good things, okay, or the pure blood to the whole body, okay, from the heart. And coming to veins, veins carry all the deoxygenated or carbon dioxygenated blood from all each and every cells to the heart for purification. As I promised you that I will clear your doubt, that was why the pulmonary artery carries the carbon dioxygenated blood, but still it is known as an artery, and the vice versa when we talk about the vein. Okay, this is because the pulmonary artery has all the means all the accurate matches as a artery. Okay, means it has all the characteristics similar to artery, means thick and elastic walls. Then it do not has valves. Then the pressure is high. Okay, so that's why it is known as an artery. And it has another main function, that artery always carries away blood from the heart and it does the same. So that's why it is known as an artery and the vein in the similar manner. Okay. So that's why pulmonary artery is given. Then coming to capillaries. Capillaries, the tiny blood vessels where the exchange of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients and waste occurs between blood and tissues. Okay. Capillaries are small blood vessels, not blood vessels, but small blood vessels looking like tubes. Okay, very thin tubes which are not visible to us. Actually, they help in exchange of all the useful things and the harmful things among the tissues. Then you can see this is a capillary, and from heart to heart, as you can see, the red color represents an artery which carries purified blood from heart, but the blue color represents a vein which carries all the waste or the deoxygenated blood to the heart. Then capillaries. These help in the exchange between the tissues. Now, transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide. As we studied, especially the hemoglobin binds with oxygen for its transportation in the whole body. Oxygen is inhaled through the lungs and enters the bloodstream through the alveoli, where it binds to the hemoglobin in RBCs, as I told you. Then, oxygen rich blood is pumped from the heart through arteries to the tissues. Then, the carbon dioxide, a waste product from the cellular respiration, is transported from the tissues to the lungs through the bloodstream and is exhaled. As I told you, the similar thing happens in this all this process. Then this is a schematic diagram of circulatory system. As you can see, as I told you, the pulmonary artery and the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary is associated with lungs, and on the upper part you can see the lungs, then the heart, the capillaries, and the systemic vein and the systemic artery. Okay, now the transportation of nutrients. Nutrients absorbed from the food in small intestine enter the bloodstream and are transported to various tissues for energy, growth, and repair. Okay, we studied about the process of nutrition. All the useful nutrients, when the digestion is completed in the small intestine, all are entered into the bloodstream. Okay, then the liver plays a key role in processing nutrients and detoxifying the substances. Okay, so liver is the main organ. Then, coming to the excretion of wastes, all the metabolic activities which we are performing, actually the cells release wastes, and how these wastes are excreted from the body. Actually, these are the wastes. They are removed from the body through the actually through kidneys or our excretory system. Okay, now a new word comes, excretory system. Now when the bloodstream flows, it also enters to bean shaped organs, okay, known as kidneys. There they are filtered. The blood entering to the kidneys has both useful and harmful substances. The useful substances are sent back, but the harmful substances, such as the urea waste, are transported to the further organs for the excretion. And when we talk about the removal of carbon dioxide, they are removed through the lungs. When the bloodstream enters the lungs, actually the air sacs, which are known as the alveoli, okay, alveoli diffuses all the carbon dioxide from the blood, then they are exhaled further out. Then hormone transportation. Hormones produced by endocrine glands. We are going to study about it in our next classes. These are the hormones. They are released into bloodstream and are transported to target organs to regulate bodily function like growth, metabolism, and reproduction. Okay. Now, blood pressure. We have completed the human circulatory system. Now, we'll be studying about the blood pressure. Blood pressure is the general problem which is faced by all. We generally call it BP. Okay. Here, now what is blood pressure? Now this is the force exerted by circulating blood on the walls of the blood vessels, primarily the arteries. Okay. There are two types of problems when we talk about the blood pressure. Even either if the blood flows very rapidly or if the pressure is very high, then we get high BP or the hypertension. If it is less and it has a low pressure, then we suffer from hypotension. Okay, then measurement of blood pressure. How we can measure the blood pressure? Actually, the blood pressure, the unit to measure the blood pressure is the mmHg. Okay, then and they are expressed through two numbers, the maximum number and the minimum number. The maximum number is known as the systolic pressure and the minimum number is known as the diastolic pressure. Okay, The systolic pressure is the pressure in the arteries when the heart contracts and pumps blood out. Okay, whenever the heart contracts due to the pacemaker cells, actually the pressure which is formed in the arteries is known as the systolic pressure, and the diastolic pressure is its opposite when the heart relaxes. Okay, then actually, a adult human being or a healthy blood pressure reading should be around 120 to 80 mmHg. Okay, where 120 is the systolic pressure and the 80 is the diastolic pressure. Normal blood pressure range. Normal should be less than 120 to 80, but elevated. If it is elevated, then the systolic pressure should be between 120 to 129 mmHg, and the diastolic should be less than 80. Okay, the hypertension stage 1. Okay, high BP stage 1. The systolic pressure increases from 130 to 139, and the diastolic also increases from 80 to 89. Okay, in the hypertension stage 2 or the high BP stage 2, the systolic pressure is around 140 mmHg or higher. Means, can you imagine how the pressure goes higher and higher in the arteries? And the diastolic is around 90 mmHg or higher. Then, the hypertensive crisis. Systolic over 180 mmHg or diastolic over 120 mmHg requires immediate medical attention. Okay, otherwise, due to excess pressure, the arteries may burst. Okay, here you can see the image. This is the schematic diagram. No hypertension or no high BP means you can see the blood flow is easy in the heart. Okay, the heart is also pumping the blood very slowly. Okay, and it is, and the relaxation and contraction is giving going on balancedly. But when we talk about the hypertensive heart, you can see the blood flow is not okay. Okay, and here you can see the heart pumping becomes harder and harder. Thank you, students. Have a nice day. Please subscribe our channel and have a nice day.